Welcome everyone, this is your host Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. First of all, this channel is proudly sponsored by pt3 Studios, the publishers and developers of Dames of Asstoria, a tabletop role-playing game where you play as monster girls, experiencing high adventure in a world that doesn't fully accept them. They have recently released Daughters of Lamb. This is a pay-what-you-want tabletop RPG where you get to play as cybernetic nuns with guns, looking for the missing pieces of their AI god. You will find that in their website. The link will be in the description and in the pinned comment. This channel is also proudly sponsored by the Red Room Publishing. Please check out their store for exclusive tabletop RPG products and check out their micro red category of games. They are ready to play RPGs with their settings and a streamlined version of the red system. Definitely check it out. You will find the link in the description and in the pinned comment as well. Today, I am continuing the review series featuring See You in Hell, a brutal tabletop RPG. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review series featuring this first-person shooter-inspired tabletop role-playing game, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to talk about rage, as well as wounds and elements. Rage shows how deadly the character is. It changes throughout the game. In the beginning, rage is equal to 1. You mark it on the character sheet, or you can use tokens. Rage increases by 1 when the player vividly describes a bloody death of an enemy. I think this is great. This is a great storytelling meta currency of sorts. It encourages the creativity of having those kill shot moments or the finishing move moments that you see in some first person shooter games. Now it's important to note that every time you destroy enemies, you can kill as many as your rage and wounds sum up together. For example, if you have 1 rage plus 0 wounds, that's 1 death. If you have 2 rage plus 3 wounds, that's 5 deaths, and so forth in a similar way. So this pretty much allows the player total control over the situation in a storytelling way when the finishing move is carried out. And they give you an example here. For example, a skinless dog bites off Lionel's 4 fingers, and the character receives 1 wound. Lionel had 1 wound and 2 rage, and now he has 2 wounds and 2 rage. That's 4 potential victims. A player can spend rage on rerolling any dice other than ones, with description of how the character overcomes an enormous obstacle or performs a tricky maneuver. You can also let another player reroll any dice other than ones, with a description of how your character and the other player's character, you act together. You cooperate to destroy your foes. Now when it comes to wounds, scratches, bullet holes, fractured bones, etc., these are all wounds. Each character can get 5 wounds and continue to stand. Wounds can be received as a result of a failure or when you get 1 on your dice. The more wounds you get, the more enemies you can kill. So this means that when you are successful at a task, the more wounded that you are, the more deaths that you can inflict. Even though this game is about death and violence, you are so tough that killing you is a very complicated task. Characters can only die in the final boss fight. If any character receives 5 wounds, the Lord of the Underworld himself appears and the final battle begins. So, when you lose all of your wounds, your kind of like hit points, this powerful enemy appears and you have a chance to survive. You're basically fighting the Grim Reaper to stay alive. Now, when it comes to elements, going to a battle barehanded is always the best idea. Isn't always the best idea. Unless you're playing like Doom and have that power up that makes you like go berserk, right? But no. Sometimes you can't solve a problem without the right equipment. Then the players have to think of a plan or a tricky maneuver. Elements are something important to this scenario. Something comes in handy once or several times when the players roll dice. The most common elements in this game are guns, but information, equipment, memorable items, pretty much even non-player characters can become elements. When you need an element, you here it says, tell the game master about it. The game master will ask a few clarifying questions and then decide how you can get the element. No. Handle it through roleplay. Don't do it. Just describe your action. Describe the element. If you need an explosive barrel, you can roleplay. I look for a nearby explosive barrel. And the game master can describe, you see, such a barrel just 10 feet to your right. You must spend one success to make it explode. The action continues smoothly, flowing, only keeping the mechanics information to a minimum. You keep the mechanics straight and true. And you keep on role playing, and there is no conversation out of character. Imagine you're in the action, you're feeling the ambience of the first person shooter, gory action, like, and then excuse me, Mr. Game Master, Mr. Game Master, can I kind of want to find like an explosive barrel. Is there an explosive barrel in the Game Master? Oh well, yeah, the explosive barrel is pretty close to you, but you know what? I think that you making the choice, the Game Master should consider two main principles. Getting the element should be logical, and the challenge for the characters shouldn't be too easy. This can all be handled keeping the role play. In this tabletop role playing game, you should be role playing. You shouldn't be having out of character conversations that are not necessary. After receiving the element, it breaks the immersion, it pulls you out of the experience. After receiving the element, you make the note on the character sheet. Depending on the situation and the description of the element, it can give you an extra die every time you roll. Sometimes several elements may seem successful, but only one die can be added to the roll. Sometimes you can lose an element because of a failed roll, rolling a 1 on a die, or just because the story moved in an unexpected direction. Well, I guess you are taking action like in tabletop role-playing games. You are not telling stories about the characters, you are experiencing the game world as the characters. It's fine if this game introduces some sort of storytelling elements here and there, but it is so unnecessary and it pulls you out of the experience with these sorts of clumsiness. The main thing is to follow common sense and logic. And it's not logical and it's not common sense to have out of character conversations between players that don't exist in the fiction with game masters that do not exist in the fiction. Just describe your action, take action within the game world. Cross out the lost element, it can no longer be used. The game master is free to simplify or complicate scenes while the characters are looking for elements. It's important to remember though that it isn't the main part of the game, don't give it too much time. Nevertheless, such scenes allow you to add the right accents to the story. And this concludes this part of the review series. In the next part, we are going to talk about tasks as well as the game master section. The mechanics are good, but the thing about let's stop and have a conversation and the storytelling elements that are sometimes introduced for a sort of hybrid experience, they are great as long as the roleplay is not sacrificed completely. But here you have out of character conversations and you're looking at things as if you are telling a story instead of experiencing the game world. If you play this game, keep that in mind. Those things need to be polished beforehand. They need to be smoothed out. It has so many rough edges. This game has so many rough edges in the explanations, but it is still a good game. Thank you for watching this part of the review series. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, consider joining as a member. Using the super thanks button, take a look at the information in the description and in the pinned comment. This has been your host, Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. And remember, in tabletop role-playing games, you are not having a conversation about your characters. You are experiencing the game world as your characters. Once again, thank you and see you later.